It's time for another update on the progress of Terminal C at LaGuardia Airport. While I've been taking many flights for a while from Terminal C, I haven't given an in-depth update on the progress of the terminal since February. And as usual, I'm starting off from the outside as my ride brings me to Terminal C. Many people think that LaGuardia Airport is 100% complete and brand new, but at Terminal C, there are still 2 concourses on the air side that are still undergoing work. Even though all the customers will check in the brilliant new head house, there's still a chance that you can be departing from a gate that was built in the 1990s, and I'm about to approach one of those areas right now. You see where the new construction ends? Well, just past that is the old Terminal C, which still has a few functional gates on its extreme west side. I'll be taking you there later in this video. The exterior needs to be fixed to match the rest of the gorgeous terminal. For now, the road is winding back to the east to bring me to the passenger drop-off area for departing flights. In the opposite direction, the road parallels the Grand Central Parkway to the far eastern side of the airport, where it swings back around to the west alongside the structure of Terminal C. We get very close to the walkway for the gates on the eastern side of the airport before we meander around the magnificent head house where all passengers can be dropped off. The drop-off area is huge, and my ride is bringing me to the last door, door number 5, which is the Sky Priority drop-off area. Welcome back to LaGuardia Airport. Upon entry at Door 5, the westernmost entrance door to the terminal, the first thing you see is the private Sky Priority check-in area for Sky Priority customers. I'm going to show you more, so let's walk to the eastern part of the check-in area. The bag claim area is down below. I'll take you down there after we explore the beautiful check-in area. And boy, do I mean beautiful. Anyone who remembers the old check-in areas in Terminal C and D knows for sure that this is worlds away from what it used to look like. The C and D terminals were originally disjointed, and you'd have to show up at the correct terminal for quick access to your gate. It's all one now. This is where all Delta passengers go to check in if they need to check a bag. At the far eastern end of the check-in area is a check-in area for WestJet, which has service to Toronto, but WestJet is not going to be here for much longer. WestJet will end service to LaGuardia on October 28, making Delta the sole carrier at this terminal. At both ends are open spaces allowing you to look up and down, and for now, we're going to head on down to the baggage claim area. We'll go to TSA after this. The bag claim area is vast, open, and airy, and the carousels are very well laid out. And the door to the street is directly outside, so you don't have to walk very far with your bags once you retrieve them. This is a great space, and likely the best-looking bag claim area in the USA. It's a real pleasant environment down here. Looking up at the west, we can see 2 levels. The middle level is for check-in, and the upper level is for TSA. When you don't have much room to build on, you build up. We'll head on over there in a moment after we check out this interactive display. Let's head up now. Welcome to the gorgeous TSA level. Look how high the ceiling is. There are special lanes for Clear, Sky Priority, Family Assist, and for those who don't fit into special categories, there's a general lane. Let's go through TSA. Immediately past TSA, if you look up, you can see part of the Delta Sky Club. Since I have access, and it's right here, let's go up there before we continue the full walking tour of the air side of Terminal C. This is a gorgeous space and most certainly the highlight of visiting Terminal C. What a stunner it truly is. Here are the windows that look down to the area just past TSA down below. This part of the Sky Club is on one of the extreme sides, and it's more quiet since it's far from the buffet area. Let's head on over to the food in the middle of the club. All right, everybody, I'm here at the Sky Club here in Terminal C at LaGuardia Airport. This just might be one of my last visits to this Sky Club with all the changes with Delta. With all the change with Delta Airlines regarding spend and minimum money that must be spent in order to get to certain levels of status, I'm not sure if I'll have access to the Sky Club in the future. I currently have access via a choice benefit of Executive Sky Club membership, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. So I'm taking advantage of this right now. Some things just may not last, so I'm relishing these high-up views of flights on LaGuardia's 2 intersecting runways now. I'm also enjoying the view of this WestJet plane one last time since the airline is leaving LaGuardia soon. I understand that an outdoor sky deck is coming to this club, and I suspect it's being constructed right here, but again, I'm not sure if I'll be able to use this in the future. This construction on the roof is really new, and to the left is something really old, the original D terminal from the 1980s, which is still operating a few flights. It'll be demolished soon, but the space it occupies is needed for gates until a new set of gates next to the terminal is completely open. We'll head on down there later. As you can see, the old D terminal is very dated looking and a far cry from where I'm taking this video from, but I will miss it. If you can make it up here, get as close as you can to the window for these really great views. Before I leave the Sky Club, here's a few scenes of what life is like in here. For now, I'm going to freshen up in the restroom because I've got an entire airside to walk through. So let's leave this beautiful space and head on down to the gate level. Let's go check out the rest of Terminal C. To the left of TSA is a walkway that leads to two concourses of gates. We'll first check out the completed new gates. This is one of the few walkways with moving sidewalks. A look to the left showcases the road we came in on in this westward-facing view. We're going to step into the future and then go back into the past again. There's still a lot of changes that need to be done here at the airport, but we're nearing completion. To get to the future, we'll be making a right turn to head to gates 70 to 79. All of the gates are actually on a lower level. We're pretty high up here, but this helps the airport utilize the most amount of space as possible. When you can't build out due to geographical restrictions, you build up. The upper level has some really nice looking dining establishments, but the real stunner is the escalator that leads to the lower level hosting gates 70 to 79. This is the highlight of the terminal area that's open to all passengers, but from what it looks like, a similar area to the east is under construction that may look just like this. We saw that area from the Sky Club. It's the concourse where they seem to be building an outdoor area for the Delta Sky Club on the roof. What a great space. One thing I like to do with this concourse is to do some plane spotting, and very large windows not only open up the space, but give people an opportunity to see aircraft up close at most of the gates. Back at the top of the escalator, we're going to head to the extreme western part of Terminal C and into the past. See the old gates on the left? We'll go there now. Even though the gate area is old, it's accessed by means of a new escalator that brings passengers down to the gate level to the original C terminal, which was home to US Air for most of its existence. This escalator is transporting me back to the 1990s. From the new escalator, we enter a long temporary walkway which leads to the gates at the western end of Terminal C. The old gates on the east side of the old Terminal C have been demolished, and the walkway is roughly in the area that existed between the two concourses. There was a gate area in this place between the two concourses, and that gate area is now gone. This is a rather long walk without a moving sidewalk, so hopefully they'll install one once the new connector is finished. If you're trying to walk from one end of Terminal C to the other, there is a lot of walking to do. As we approach the end of the long corridor, we're released into the food hall in the original Terminal C. This is one of the few parts of the old terminal that still remains just like it did before construction started. I always like the options here at this part of the terminal, and it will be interesting to see how or if this changes once the renovation is complete. Below this area was the baggage claim area, but any passengers that arrive in this gate area will have their bags directed to the baggage claim area that I showed you earlier on. Basically, it's more walking to get from plane to street. In this area, gone is the old Delta Sky Club that existed here. And as we continue to the gate area, everything on the right side is gone and blocked off by a wall. What's happening here? Well, apparently, instead of building a new concourse here, the existing concourse will remain in place, and enhancements are being made around the old structure. Since the right side is closed off, it looks like for now the right side of the terminal is being modernized. None of the gates on the right side were accessible or being used, and unlike what happened at other concourses, no new building is being built alongside it. If you look only to the left, the view is what the terminal has looked like since the 1990s. As I walked along to the very end, I had many memories of the flights I had taken out of this area, even back when US Airways was functioning here. It's so strange to see one side of the terminal completely closed. I can only imagine the great enhancements that are being made on the other side of the wall. Here's the view from the very end. All right, I remember the old windows here. This is as far as we can go. The only way to go is to go back now towards the rest of the terminal. I've got a really long walk to get to the next area I want to show you, which is on the far eastern side of the terminal. This sure is a pretty long temporary walkway. For now, it's back up and eastbound across paths that I've taken before. We're leaving the past. And now we head back to the future. Yes, this is a great futuristic and modern space, but having used Terminals C and D in the past, this terminal is almost too big, and the lack of constant moving sidewalks can make the trek a bit tiring for those that have trouble walking. Fortunately, wheelchair assistance is available for those who need it. I just got used to the really short walking distances of the old C and D terminals, and even the B terminal. Today, the only terminal at LaGuardia with minimal walking is Terminal A, the Marine Air Terminal, but that terminal only handles a small percentage of flights at LaGuardia. What we're looking at here is a temporary tunnel, which will go in soon. It leads to the old D terminal, as well as the new concourse that's adjacent to it. And alas, as we get closer to the end of the building, there's finally some automated assistance to help the walking travelers. This is only one of very few moving sidewalks here at LaGuardia. Before we head to the old Terminal D and its adjacent new gates, we'll descend again to the gate level and we'll first visit a series of gates on the far eastern side of the airport. This finger forms a wall bordering the airport along Flushing Bay, and gates are only on one side of the concourse as there's water on the other side. It's a narrow concourse but bright and airy. It's the first of the new concourses that opened at Terminal C, and it's been in use for a while now. I always like it when I have a flight out of one of these gates because of the views on both sides of the airport and the intimacy that it provides, which somewhat reminds me of the old LaGuardia. Just west of the far eastern gates are these new gates. Let's head in that direction now by taking a temporary walkway which is accessed from the eastern side of the terminal. Eventually these gates will be more accessible from TSA, but with the construction of the new pier still occurring, this is the only option. Again, it's a long walk. The new gates are located on the east side of the concourse, and if you take a look out the window here, you can see the new concourse on the right and the old D terminal on the left. The space between them lacks any gates. Before we go to the new concourse, we're going to go into the old D concourse, which was built in the early 1980s. It's the second oldest active airline terminal structure at LaGuardia after the Marine Air Terminal, but it needs to be in use for a bit longer to accommodate flights until all the construction is complete. Only the gates on the west side are in use, as the ramp of the east side is occupied by the new concourse. We're back to the past again. Let's head in the opposite direction to the new concourse, which is accessible by a small entrance from the temporary walkway that we were just in. As we leave the old D terminal, we see the old entrance, which led to the check-in area. This will all be demolished soon. We turn to the left to get to the new gates. And here they are, with functioning gates only on the east side due to the presence of the old D terminal on the west side. There are also some gates at the end. Eventually, the structure we saw from the Sky Club, where I believe the outdoor deck is being built, will house a straight-in entry to these gates directly from the TSA area. Well, that concludes the full tour of the massive Terminal C. I'm going to head to the center of the terminal. I covered a lot, and that's what this channel aims to do, so if you haven't done so already, I invite you to click on the subscribe button below so you know when my next video comes out. I'll have many more flight videos coming soon. Well, I hope you enjoyed this walking tour of Terminal C at LaGuardia Airport. If I sound like I'm out of breath, I am. It's a lot of walking. Well, the airport is almost complete, just a few changes that need to be made, and this is going to be spectacular by the very end. It already is. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody.